Welcome to the third Zoom mini reunion for Stanford's class of 1955. I'm Marge Hunnicky Blaine, and I'm hosting a group of my classmates today. Get comfortable while the group gathers. You'll enjoy getting to know our classmates better as they tell you stories about their lives after Stanford. Hey, I'm so glad to see you guys. Some of you didn't answer me, so I'm sitting here thinking, oops, it's going to be Mike and me and one other person. That's it. So I'm glad you're all here.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Ben, are you in your airplane? He can't hear us yet.
Okay, I got you. What?
Are you in your airplane?
I wish I was. I'd be right there.
You had this amazing story.
Well, who knows what's next?
Okay.
Where are you? You look like you're in a cockpit or something.
No, I tell you, I just had a scare. I've had this problem with coughing and so forth the last couple of days. I turned out negative on COVID, but I'm sort of recovering. So I'm in my bedroom in a chair that goes up and down.
Okay.
So
it looked for a minute like you were in an airplane, and I thought, whoa, I am impressed.
Flying at the same time, right? So you watch how the view changes. See as this chair comes up.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so Ann Gardner, you're the one that I was worried wouldn't be here because you were at a doctor's appointment.
Oh, yes, but it turned out all right.
Okay. Hey, Jean Mudge, you got here.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Jean.
Hey, Carol, you made it. Carol Kleinstuber. She's new, and she's going to be one of the new ones telling us about herself. And Claire Van Sickle Nash, she's supposed to be here. I don't see her yet. And Chris Hunt Egan, she's not here yet. And we've got a new person coming next time. Hey, Mary Carol, you remember Betty Nealand?
Sure.
Yeah, she was in Brenner with us.
Yes.
And her name, do you remember her? Somebody else?
Yeah, I don't remember her.
Yeah. Anyway, she's going to join us next time. She's very excited about doing that.
Good.
I remember her. I think I spilled a dish on her when I was hashing at Brenner. What a way to make an introduction, huh? Yeah. There's Rudy.
And they can talk. Okay, so
hey, Rudy, how you doing?
Fine. How are you guys?
Most of us are doing well, apparently.
Yeah, that's good. Good to see you, Jean.
And I know that Jean Lay did big travels, so I can count on you to tell us about that.
Okay, well, let's see. We've been to Tanzania.
Wow.
Lovely place.
See animals, enjoy life. There were 9 of us on the trip. We had 2 vehicles and 2 tour guides, 2 drivers, and everybody got along just super wonderfully. And the food was wonderful the whole time, and nobody got eaten, or even the only person that got hurt at all was me. On the balloon ride, it landed very hard, and I just happened to hit my little backside.
Yeah, there we are.
I'm sorry, would you tell me on the
Thank
what
you.
ride?
I'm sorry?
What kind of ride?
Yeah, I think we're working now.
A balloon ride.
A balloon. I thought you said bull, and I thought, oh my.
No, a balloon ride. And the basket in this case is one I'd never seen before. It held, would have held 16 people. Ours only had 14 in it, but I'd never seen a basket that big on a balloon ride, but it landed very hard on the basket where we were seated. And so got a little bruise, but other than that, and then once we got back from Tanzania, we went off to Hawaii last week and enjoyed golfing and swimming and took a helicopter ride across Kauai. Yeah, great
Which
time.
island did you go on?
Oahu.
I'm sorry,
Which island?
Kauai.
Okay.
That's where we have our timeshare.
Shoot, I should have given you Terry's class that does these same Zoom meetings, and I'm their volunteer host. Bill Hernandez lives right on Kapa'a.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's written just all kinds of books about his childhood in Kauai.
Because we had dinner in Kapaha twice.
Oh, I am so sorry. Do you go there often?
Try once a year. Not COVID, we didn't, but generally
Yeah.
about once a year.
Don't let me forget, because
Okay.
they walk into town, he and his wife, Judy, walk into town every day to the bookstore because all his books are on display there. And so they're right, in the village, they live nearby.
That would be
And
great.
I know, and they're just a neat couple. Yeah,
Because we stay in Lahui, which is, I think about 11 miles from Kapaha.
sure. Oh, that would be an easy get together. A nice little Stanford get to know each other while you're there. Hey, well,
And
you're doing great. I know. Did you say you had COVID too?
I did get COVID from my daughter when I went back to Cheshire to visit her. She unfortunately didn't know she had it when she picked me up at the airport.
Oh,
And the
shoot.
next day she came down with it, and I didn't catch it while I was there or when I hopped on the airplane, but I developed it once I got home. So I was glad I was home, but it was just a bad cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Not-
everybody
Not
says.
serious, so.
Everybody seems to get it from their grandchildren.
No, my grandchildren are kind of
That's
old.
like
But,
getting,
One of the first things that we do for new people, and you are our new person today,
yes,
and we've got kind of a short group, but that's okay. Anyway, we ask you to tell us what you've been doing since graduation in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes.
it's been a year or two, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It sure has.
Well, I've married twice. I've had 2 daughters, 11 years apart. I worked at Stanford for a while after graduation. I helped get my first husband through graduate school. What have I done? I married a very tall man with a very long name who designed jewelry. I took some classes in about stones.
The jewelry designing sounds fascinating. Is that what he did for a living?
Well, no, it was one of the things. Yeah. He used to teach jewelry too.
He what?
He used to teach jewelry
Okay.
design, and in fact, he even taught at Stanford off and on.
What was his name?
Don Kleinstuber,
Oh, I'm sorry.
very long
Yeah.
German name.
The
And-
reason I asked, Terry's sister fell in love with jewelry making. She was quite an artist. She was at Stanford also. And what was the name of the guy, Terry? It's gonna
Matt
come to-
Kahn was at Stanford.
Who? Say it again.
Matt Kahn was at Stanford.
That was it. That's the
Yeah.
famous
Now
jewelry
Matt
designer.
Kahn
I remember that name
was an
too.
excellent designer. However, Matt Kahn didn't know anything about the construction of jewelry,
Okay.
which is where my husband Don came in. So he was teaching Stanford students about casting precious metals,
Okay.
things like that. You see,
And was your husband there at the same time that Matt Kahn was?
yeah, they knew each other. Yes.
Okay. Why
Now,
bet
here's
Joanne
my.
knows
This
him.
is,
Wow. Well, that's very
Wow.
interesting. Did you ever get involved in it?
I took some gemology classes
Okay.
about precious stones and what have you. Took the diamond course. Yeah, this
Do you
this
have a
man
good
that he
collection?
made,
Do you have a
Yeah.
collection yourself?
I have a beautiful collection of jewelry. Anne and I made a trip to Kenya several years ago.
And Carol took the balloon ride, but I was too scared to.
You missed a good one.
Yeah,
It was lots of fun. We went up and there were mass quantities of zebra down there underneath us.
Anybody done any traveling this summer?
No, the only thing I did was to travel from San Francisco to Detroit to where I am now in Ann Arbor at an old folks home here.
And was that when you moved from San
Yes.
Francisco? Oh, okay.
Yes,
So Carol, is this a relatively recent move for you?
yes. I moved, I have been here just short of a year.
Okay.
And well, actually, where I am is beautiful. They're just on a hill overlooking the Huron River.
Uh-uh.
And I can walk down to the river and across, and because it's even raining today, it's beautifully green.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, anybody else done any traveling this summer?
But that's as much traveling as I've done.
I went to Hawaii.
Well, that counts. Oh, yeah.
I saw my son bought a place up by the Volcano Village, and he's
Oh.
building a bed and breakfast there. He
Oh,
doesn't live there. He
wow.
lives in LA, but
This
so I
is
went to
on
see
the
it.
Big
It's really,
Island?
it's beautiful. It's like a little jungle with flowers everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to visit Larry Heim, who was our classmate,
Mhm.
and Larry was a great swimmer. So I visited with him in Honolulu, and that's about it for that trip.
Near
but
the
it was fun.
volcano house is on the Big Island, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow,
And then I
that's
went to
great.
Honolulu after that and saw Larry. Larry's quite a guy.
And
He's having a little memory problem, like some of us. So what do you want? Would you like to know more about, since we have a little down, I don't want to interrupt anybody's stories, but first of all, last week I called Nancy Brennan. I don't know if you know her. You all know Nancy Brennan?
I know the name.
I know
Okay.
her.
She lived in Maine, I think. No.
Napa. Didn't she live in Napa
Somewhere where you guys live up there.
or Sonoma?
Anyway, I talked to her husband. She lives in Connecticut, or did, and she just died, unfortunately. So
Oh,
I feel bad
Nancy.
about that. You'll hear about that. And the other bad news is that one of the reasons Marty Tree probably didn't make it is that he was down at a memorial for Marianne Reeder Butler, who passed away in July.
That's too bad.
So that's the bad news I have. Okay, other than that, I can tell you this, I could go on. My adventures in digging up classmates is very exciting. Some of the people I've run into are just phenomenal. You'll be reading about Alan Howard, who's a professor from Hawaii, who was in our class, and he spent a career in Rotuma, an island on the outskirts of Fiji, which Mary Carroll may have run into.
Mm-hmm.
And so he
Yes.
wrote all about those people. He's an anthropologist. That was his job for his life. So it's very interesting. And a guy called me named Lawrence Landa.
Larry
6'5".
Landa, yes.
Oh, yeah,
I knew
yeah.
You know
Larry.
him?
I
Okay.
remember that.
Yeah, he has he's very big in art. You know, he paints. He did his whole career spent painting fine art. And he has a gallery showing at the Museo Italia Americano on Battery in San Francisco.
Oh,
And it's quite amazing. He's really quite amazing. So he lives in Healdsburg. And he still paints. Look him up. He's got some beautiful stuff.
That's
And what
terrific.
else? Well, that just goes on and on. I could go
Yeah.
on and on.
Mike, your column is always wonderful. You've got all these interesting stories, some about people we never knew. And
Yeah,
it's
well,
so great
it's
to know
me
them
too.
now.
I'm meeting them and I'm discovering their lives, just like all of you here. You've had such interesting lives.
Yeah,
It is it's a ball talking about them.
it's just
um,
wonderful. Yeah.
So I'm all written up. Just got sent in the December issues. September's been in a while.
Okay.
December's in.
Did you
I'm
give a
working on
plug?
March.
Did you give a plug again to the Zoom meetings?
There's always a plug.
Okay,
each
that's
one.
great.
A plug for the Zoom. I have a list of 750 plus or minus people.
Hmm.
And some of them, I don't have any names, any addresses or phone numbers for. So I try to Google them and dig them out. And I may call on you guys to see if you can, somewhere in your region, maybe at least get me some information on them so I can, wring the story out of them. But there's quite a few there in that category. And then there's plenty, believe me, plenty to fill the magazine. I'm thinking about a couple of different ideas to get more of us involved in communicating, like while we still can. And that is a newsletter. I think a newsletter might be nice because we could do it, maybe not 5 times a year, but at least we'd have more space. We're very limited in the column, and we could do pictures in a newsletter. So I think it would be fun to do that. And I might call on y'all to punch in. By the way, I wrote about Mary Carroll's years in South Pacific, and that will be in, I think, the September issue. Mary Carroll, look, I'll tell you when it's coming.
Good.
Be sure you get the magazine.
We do.
We
Okay.
do.
Yeah, thank you,
It
Mike.
follows me
Ben, we
everywhere.
always got something to say about Ben. He's one of our stars.
Mike, while
Ben,
you,
when is are you ready for chasing the what do you call it? The eclipse?
That is on April the 8th, 2024.
Oh, 24. I thought it was 23. Okay, we got to wait a year. Keep healthy.
And it will actually, can you hear me?
yeah, we
Okay.
got you.
It will really start down in Mexico below Laredo and that area and move up through the Midwest and then end up in the Northeast. So there's going to be a lot of you that live on the East Coast or the Midwest will be right in its path. I belong to an organization called UFOs, United Flying Oxygenarians. And
I love it.
there's 1,300 of us, mostly in the states that have good weather, actually, because some part are populated, and then a few overseas. Anyway, Texas is one of the main areas, and so I've talked to a couple of guys that have said, "Yeah, we'll set you up, come on out," and so forth and so on. So that's the plan for 2024. It's getting closer too, so I'm getting excited about that.
Did you say it again? How many octogenarians?
1,300.
Oh my God.
I'm just about to leave the octogenarians.
Oh,
I'll be 90 on December 1st.
Wow.
Hey, Ben, what are they going to do about that? You're gonna have a group that are in the 90s?
well, the reason you have, in order to get into the group at age 80, you have to still be flying,
Yeah,
and that's sort of on the honor system too. So
sure.
I really
Yeah.
never. Before,
It doesn't matter. Once you're 80, you're in for life.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're okay. So you can fly and join them.
Well, the automatic pilot helps.
Right.
Absolutely. In fact, I had a problem with my autopilot, and I had to fly from Watsonville to Sacramento, which is an easy flight, without it, and I could tell the difference, you
Yeah.
know. And And I remember when, what do you mean? I can do all these things without an autopilot. And then about 2004, I got an autopilot, and you love it. You have to be very careful, but it's a great instrument. And now Garmin is coming out, and they have now actually, but for general aviation, they have a button, a red button in the middle of the cockpit and if you press that, it takes over and will land at the nearest airport. If you lose it,
Hmm, hmm.
which I think is better than a parachute. Like,
Hey, I want to be sure and say hi to Chuck Stockholm. Thank you so much for making it.
Oh, no,
Chuck-
I'm
Chuck-
sorry, I was late.
Well,
but
there he is.
yeah,
There
yeah.
he is.
Who's
Yeah.
that?
Got a board meeting every third Wednesday, is it, of each
Yeah.
month.
Each month and this.
And so next time our meeting is scheduled, I think it's 3 months from now, will be November. We have to be sure and do it on a different day because
Well, that would
we
be
want to
great.
be able to have Chuck here. Yeah.
I tell you, Marge, which is really great. I could sit here and I could look at two of my former roommates. First one from my freshman year, Rudy Rich, and the remainder of my time at the Beta House with our scribe, Mike Arnstein. So it's a great fun seeing you guys.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's really
Chuck-
neat. That's so neat.
Look at that tan he's got. That's from a month in Maui.
Hey, Chuck, this is Rudy Ray calling. I was your roommate as a freshman.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Freshman
I
year.
didn't hear that.
Yeah, yeah. In Cena Hall with the late John Carver
In the basement.
in the basement.
Yeah.
That
hey,
doesn't
Rudy,
sound great.
Rudy, he was my roommate for the next 3 years. You trained him. He was
Yeah.
a good roommate.
And I could give a lot of stories about Arnstein after a 3-year period, but I don't know if they're printable. But it was great fun.
Don't tell any bad things.
Hey, Chuck, I know we've been talking about, or we started the conversation about people who have traveled someplace this summer. We've had a couple of reminiscence of Africa and Hawaii. Have you been any place this summer?
Yes, we were in. We went on a canal trip during the tulip season in Holland and Belgium
Oh, wow.
for about 2 weeks, which was great fun. And we went on to London for a couple of days, and we passed our COVID tests in London to get back into the States. And we wore our masks all the time. Nobody else did. And Mariana was negative and I was positive. Yeah. And so I came down with COVID for
oh
10
boy.
days. Fortunately, nothing bad. It was just a extreme fatigue, but nobody was wearing masks, or very few people wearing masks, including on the plane, except for ourselves. So, and one trip to Maui, and we're going to Maui in about 3 weeks again. So
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, anybody else been doing any kind of traveling this summer? Doesn't have to be far away.
Mount Shasta, great place to visit, Mount Shasta. And the
Oh,
beautiful-
Mount Shasta.
Yeah,
Hey, is there still snow up there?
there were patches.
Yeah.
Not very much. Beautiful trees, but sadly, so many of them were burned almost to the ground.
Oh, shoot.
But it's still beautiful. Just, you can't beat it. One of these days, the trees will be new again, but not in our lifetime.
Wow. Did you go?
No, the last time I skied, I was 77.
it's great.
Wow.
Pretty
good.
neat.
Okay, I'll tell you one. I spoke with Ellen Searby.
Oh, Piton Ellen.
Ellen, I found Ellen. You know her. Okay.
Yes,
so
how
she
is
was on the
she?
Ski patrol and on the cross country and all that. I talked to her a couple of days ago, and she's getting ready to go skiing at Heavenly Valley.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
She still skis.
Holding
And,
up well.
So there you go.
Who is
I-
this?
She's still skiing?
She's still
Yeah,
skiing.
no,
Oh my
the
God.
last
Yeah.
time I skied, I was 77. It was in Utah.
Hey, Terry and I got to go to Yosemite this summer, which was
Well, that
just
was
great.
nice.
Yeah,
How was it?
we were at the Awani Hotel with the whole family, which was very neat. So you'll
Didn't
get
they
a
change
Christmas
the
card
name of
picture
that,
this
of
year.
the Awani?
Before the fire or after?
It was actually right after the fire was just being controlled. We were so lucky. There was first some cloud cover, and then it brought down all the smoke, and there was no smoke. It was beautiful.
Really?
So we were just very fortunate. We were there for 4 days.
Oh, great.
My daughter and her daughter got to go up to the high country. You know, we usually go to Tuolumne Meadows every summer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they closed everything up there except for the campgrounds. And so Connie went up there with her daughter, and they did one overnight because next year they're going to do the John Muir Trail just for a week. And they've got about 4 or 5 women already. And I think her husband now has said, you know what? You're not doing that all alone. I'm going with you. So they're planning that big time to do 7 nights out on the John Muir Trail.
Ooh.
Sounds like your knee must be better.
No, I'm not doing it. Oh my God, no.
No, Marge's idea of outdoor adventure is to open the sliding glass door.
Ah, I tried to get out without falling. I know that.
Good for
Jean
you.
Mudge, you're my outdoor enthusiast. What have you done lately?
Well, everybody's talking about Hawaii as an annex to Stanford, almost. I went east. I went to Bar Harbor to my in-laws' handmade house on Frenchman's Cove,
Wow.
overlooking
Oh.
Acadia National Park. Well, the family, and they date back literally, this is not my family, this is in-laws. The family dates way, way back to the Mayflower, and Stover was the name, in case anybody's a history buff, wants to look it up. But anyway, they were modest folks, farmers, and they owned this land, which was a huge spit overlooking Frenchman's Cove with this gorgeous view of Acadia, as I say. Well, during World War II, they were asked to donate some of this land for an airport, a military airport, which they did, and it has now become the Bar Harbor Airport.
Oh,
The virtue of this is that my plane lands right next to the property that I'm vacationing at.
I love it.
So I get to just walk off with my luggage to the house.
Oh,
Now,
that's wonderful.
the land has been developed by the family over the years. Everybody in New England, you know, has a camp, a family camp that they go to. Even if they live in Bar Harbor, which is only 5 miles away, they have a camp that is cooler,
See yourself?
presumably. But
Be careful, you're gonna be in
my-
the background.
my children have built a barn, a prefab barn,
See?
which is winterized. It's the only
I did.
winterized.
I am muted.
It's the only winterized building in the family compound, but it promises to house people year round. And I think that's a good idea. I think everybody should have an escape place, especially if they live in a dangerous area, either drought or earthquake or flood. The sea is rising, to be sure, but they live up on a cliff. So anyway, that was my summer vacation.
Very, very nice. Okay, so Rudy. Hey, Rudy. Have you done any travels this summer?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Yes, we did. We decided that it was a good time to do some travel here in the States. And we took a Viking cruise from Toronto through the Great Lakes. We went to Lake Huron, Lake Superior, and Lake Michigan. And it was a delightful trip. Viking did a fantastic job. They had a brand new boat, which was checked out to have all the latest navigational equipment and facilities. And it was such a delightful boat. I hate to go to another boat in the future, but it was terrific.
Okay, so Ginny Stern,
Yeah.
are you going to tell us what you did this summer?
Oh, I'm not traveling now.
Okay.
So I don't, I'm here in Washington. I'm involved in a lot of things here that probably the rest of you aren't, because I think there's only one member of the group who is from Washington, and I don't know if he is here now. So, I think my life is, I know California and grew up there part of the time, but it's kind of different when you live in Washington, I think.
We
when you
heard
live
about your life last January. Were you there on January 6th?
Well, we're there. I'm here all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and quite close, within
Woo.
walking distance. I'm not in a suburb or anything.
Okay,
I'm in Cleveland Park, which is really part of Washington, D.C.
okay. And Ann Gardner, did you have anything to add?
I think I'm done traveling,
Mhm.
and it's gotten hard in a couple of ways. So it's really interesting for me to hear what everybody else is still able to do.
It's
Yeah,
true.
We
It's
have a
nice.
new rule in traveling.
Oh,
We have a new rule in traveling other than my airplane. And that is that the flight we take has to go exactly to where we want to go without any change of airplanes.
oh,
And we
yeah.
have to end up back in the same time zone. And so
Okay,
usually that means to
Sounds
fly
good.
someplace, get on a cruise, and then to end up in LA or San Francisco.
I love it. Okay. Hey, Mary Carol, my old buddy, don't think I let you out. I just saved you for last because it's probably going to be the best. What have you been up to?
Well, can you hear me?
Sure.
Not much. We have been hunkering down, and our oldest son, who is also a graduate of Stanford, would have family gatherings. Nobody wore a mask. Well, where we live, we are trying to protect other people, and we wear a mask, and it's very, very difficult to communicate with these people that want to be about a foot away from you. So our traveling, we have marvelous memories, as you probably know. We've traveled all over the world. We've exchanged places. We've had such great adventures. I married a sailor, and we sailed all over the place, and we're traveling through our children now.
Sounds good.
Well, Mary Carol, Marge married a sailor too, but she
Oh.
didn't get to go along with me.
You got to be a good sport, Marge.
No, the Navy wouldn't let me go.
Oh, well, no. Well, no, but John was in the Navy, but he was a pilot.
Right.
And
You
the
didn't get
quarters
to
in
go
that
there
plane are
either.
even smaller, right?
Yeah. Anyway, it's such fun to meet up with you, and let's do it again.
I think this is really neat. Well, I have just, let's see, did I miss anyone? Did anyone have something to share that?
Not really, yeah.
Okay, I have something. It's not a happy piece of news, and I tried to squeeze it in earlier when you gave the death notices. So Terry just gave me an obituary this morning that our classmate Louise Lazarus passed away this month. And Louise was married to Marv Kennefoss. Does some of you guys remember him?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
And then later married to Dr. Peter DeVries. So I think she's been married to him for 35 years. So I didn't know about that till today. So one by one, the passage goes on. But in the meantime, it's wonderful to share the time that we have and to get together once a quarter like this. I think it's great. Chuck, because your meetings on Wednesday, we're not going to do Wednesday anymore. But before I just change the day, I think I'll change it to either a Tuesday or a Thursday. Does any one of you have a routine standard meeting that happens on either Tuesday or Thursday so that I should avoid that?
Thursday.
Who said that?
No,
There.
And Thursday.
Thursday.
And
Okay,
Thursday,
so Thursday is out. How about Tuesday? Does that work?
Tuesday's fine with me.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
better, I
We
think.
play
Tuesday-
golf-
Tuesday
play
is
golf
not-
on Tuesday, the third Tuesday of the month.
So it'll probably be the third Tuesday in August, September, October, in November. And that means that leads me right up to,
Marge, I hate to put a fly in the ointment, but Tuesday is really packed for me. I can't possibly morning or afternoon.
okay. So what about Mondays? Does that work for anybody?
Monday's okay.
works for me.
Monday's a dead day. Okay, we're gonna go for Monday. And if you don't like it, just be quiet. Don't tell me about it.
Well,
You don't
something-
Bump
I
it.
have another Zoom meeting with people in the Bay Area
Oh,
On
tell them to
Wednesdays,
change their
tonight.
meeting. We've run this by 16 people, 50, 14, whatever. Okay, the other thing that we're going to talk about is the reunion. You all got the little blurb that I sent you this morning. They are asking, make sure that I share with everybody in case you didn't get it. So I did that. Terry and I just registered this morning. Chuck, are you going to be there?
I'm gonna be in New York,
Okay.
so I'm gonna be out of town.
Ben, I know, no, not Ben. I know, Rudy, you're going to be there, right?
I'm going to be there, yes.
Yeah. Ben, are you going to be there? Where'd he go?
I think he just
Signed off.
signed off.
Okay, Mike,
He
are you
flew
going to
away.
be there? Mike, are you going to be there?
I am planning to.
Yeah, okay.
So how many years is
And
that?
Mary Carol, are you going to be there?
I doubt it. I doubt it. And thank you though for all the invitations and so forth.
Okay,
I'll keep in touch with you, but I don't think we're going to be traveling. Even I prefer to wear a mask even for an hour on the airplane.
okay.
And you know,
That's very.
we got to
smart.
keep going. We're almost 90 years old.
Yes, we are.
Well, wearing a mask on the
It-
plane is very good. I
Yes.
mean, a lot of people are doing it and a lot of people aren't, but nobody seems to be unhappy with those of us that are wearing masks, so that's good.
And Jean, Jean Lay, you're going to be there.
Yes.
And
Jean,
Jean Mudge, you're going to
Yeah.
be there. Yeah, okay. So we've got quite a few people.
And I think
and
so.
Marilyn's.
You're
gonna
going
be
to
there.
be, Marilyn's going to be, woo,
I-
all
I
right.
have a
fact-
question.
In fact, we have reservations for the night, so.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And Terry and I are definitely having a party. We just don't know at our house. We just don't know what time yet. We are going to have to wait until we find out 10 days before when the football game is. And if it's at night, we're definitely not going. If it's during the day, we may or may not, but whatever it is, we will host a party at our house for whoever wants to be there.
Are you planning on going to the, what was it, the tailgate party that there's a,
I don't know. I mean, I will do everything that there is to do and plan the party around it.
okay,
You know, so, I mean, we'll know before then. Maybe we'll have a committee meeting, maybe we'll have I don't know, some kind of a quick meeting, but we'll figure out
okay.
once we know this date. Because I can make a party happen in 10 days, but I just can't figure out the football schedule until they let us know. So,
You're the Pearl Nesta of Portola Valley, Marge.
That is definitely the case, yes.
Marge,
Is
Yeah.
it possible to get, or will there be a table for the classes 55 at the dinner on the quad?
I got to talk to our Cardinal Society rep yesterday, and he said the way to do it, and I emailed everybody this morning, So you'll have that when you look at it. But
Mhm.
he said the way to do it is for us to gather in the courtyard where they have like little cocktail tables and they have placards saying Cardinal Society, and then to all walk in together. The way the tables will be marked will be Cardinal Society, not by class. And nor can you reserve a table. Nobody can, no class can do that. And so he said, just walk in together and then gather your seats as you walk in. So we will do that this year, right now, coming up, okay?
Okay,
I know last year you and your wife and Terry and Terry's chairman of his committee ended up sitting together at one table, which was very nice. That's how I
That's right.
got to meet you.
that's how I got involved, is because of you.
That's
It's all your
right.
fault.
Right. So we will just stand together outside, and then we will gather at where we are outside, and then we'll go in together, and hopefully we'll have a table or two.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, guys, thank you so much. It was
Thank you,
great.
Marge.
Have a
We'll
good
see you
evening.
later.
Bye,
Thank you, Marge.
everybody.
Let me
Okay,
know when you're
buddy.
doing it again.
Glad to see
Okay.
two old roommates.
All
Thank
right.
Bye
you
now.
very much. Thanks,
Stay
Marge.
on until you're all off, until you say your goodbye.